Hello everybody, my name is Hallimar, and today we're going to be returning to the topic that I've delved a little bit into in previous weeks, and that's going to be what the plot of Season 2 for Snowpiercer might actually be. Today I'm going to mostly just avoid conjecture because I want to try and make this as a clear and concise video as possible for what we could actually be seeing outside of theories and stuff like that. So all the stuff that I'm saying is going to be based off of assumptions that I have off of the trailer that came out today, the teaser trailer, and also a bunch of other trailers that I've managed to get a hold of, and a bunch of pictures that I managed to get a hold of from the Snowpiercer community, mainly the Snowpiercer Discord server. And yeah, I will, like I said, be talking about images a little bit, but it's mostly just going to be about the commercials and sneak peeks that I have access to that were only aired outside of America, to my knowledge at least. And for your information, this is not that much of a spoiler. These aren't that big of a spoilers, I guess, but technically, if these are only aired outside of America, where it's aired later in the month, pardon me, then these could be considered spoilers, I guess, but they're still just trailers and sneak peeks, so it's not like they're leaks or anything like that. The first thing I wanted to tackle today was what could be possibly going on outside of the train. Believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff actually going to be happening outside the train in this season, and there's going to be quite a few big things that are going to play an important role in the second season. First of all is going to be something quite exciting, is that Snowpiercer isn't going to be taking her normal route in this upcoming resolution. Based on these clips, Snowpiercer is likely taking the tracks that Big Alice normally takes, and it's pretty obvious since this mountain is incredibly dangerous and is not something that Snowpiercer would normally be going on. Especially based on how tight this turn is when she's nearly falling off the tracks. And then another piece of evidence is that Ruth says that they're talking about slingshotting both the trains up a mountain, which is clearly sounds like something the train of Snowpiercer has never actually done. This could happen later in the series where they switch off into another track, but I think it's going to happen as they leave Chicago and go along Big Alice's route that she first took when Big Alice departed Chicago, but that's just, who knows. This is also enforced by the way he talks about how this is his world in the dial, in the trailers and stuff like that. Of course, he could still just be referring to the trains that he commissioned to be built, but it's just another thing that could be used to prove this a little bit more. And then another thing concerning Mr.Wilford is that I don't think he'll be a traditional villain in this show of what we normally see in TV shows and movies. Of course, he's not going to be a good person. That there was no questioning that. But I think Mr. Wilford's going to act like more of a Joker-like character, and he just does wacky and crazy stuff and stuff like that just because he wants to. And I think that's the way it's just going to be because based on the trailers, he's doing wacky things, crazy things that you don't normally see from a show's villain, and when he's supposed to be the villain, that can only mean that he's gonna be a wacky kind of character in a Joker-like fashion, I guess. But back onto the topic of what's going on outside the trains. Another thing that's going to be happening outside is that something is going to be launched in the atmosphere, and this could be a potential fix for CW7, the chemical that froze the Earth, but it can also be something that is going to be used to make it worse. But based on what Layton says, mentioning Hope in the trailers quite a bit, I think it may be a potential fix to CW7's effects. And another big thing that's going to be happening outside the trains is that Melanie is going to have to survive out in the frozen wastes. Based on the trailers and the fact that, she's crossing the frozen waste, the desert, and the way that the characters talk about having her thrown off the train, she's definitely going to get thrown off the train, or she's just going to be left behind when the two trains depart, but I think that she's going to get thrown off later, because there seems to be quite a bit of plot with Melanie while she's on the train. It is a bit hard to tell, but based on the fact that Melanie is intervening between Alexandra and the people of Snowpiercer, I feel like this is right as the conflict is just starting between Big Alice and Snowpiercer. But one way or another, the people of Snowpiercer are going to surrender to Mr. Wilford one way or another. The biggest piece of evidence for this is how Bennett says that someone, presumably Melanie, cannot let the monster Wilford be in charge of humanity. He could be talking to someone else, but I really think that he's talking to Melanie, because who else would he be talking to in that manner? And based on the clip right here, Melanie has clearly been sent back to work on Snowpiercer, and also the clip that you see in the main trailer that came out today for me is that everyone's been sent back to work despite Wilford being in control. One last little note for Melanie is that she says that Snowpiercer is a beautiful thing that we created, quote unquote. She could be referring to humanity as a whole, but there's no real way to tell. She could be talking about someone specifically, but I think I'll leave that one up to you. As far as the negotiations between Wilford and Leighton will go, they won't really go at all, because in the end, Wilford has all the power here. He has the spiritual, I guess you can call it, power, and he also has all the leverage. He has control of both trains, and I think that based on Melanie's accusations, he'd be more than willing to drown out all of humanity just to try and get his train back. One last thing that's important to the plot that really doesn't require that many leaps of faith is that Miss Audrey will become a Marilyn Monroe-type character alongside Mr. Wilford. However, I think this is mostly as a spy or an advocate for Leighton, since she talks about how Mr. Wilford wants control of everyone, and it seems like she'd be telling Leighton that. And I feel like she would have figured that out by being beside Wilford as a spy. But that pretty much wraps up all the big arguments in the video that will most likely, almost certainly happen. So there are a few other things I want to bring up that require a bit of actual thinking, or just leaps of faith and stuff like that in general that I've come up on my own thought and accord. The first thing is that I think there's going to be a new major character in the show who has or had some kind of great persuasive power over a character that we've already known. This is based on a line that the new character, says that revolves around the characters making some kind of mistake or about to make some kind of mistake. I don't know any other information about it, but I will keep you updated when I find out more. And then the last major thing concerning the characters that I think Osweiler, will die or will be put in great danger to the point where he'll nearly die. I want to put a great emphasis on think, because I can't confirm that this person is actually him, but I think that if it is, whether it's him or not, that there's going to be someone who's going to wind up getting dragged very horribly into one of Wilford's execution chambers of what it looks like, which is clearly on Big Alice because Snowpiercer has already detached her execution chamber during the first season. All in all, I'm both hyped and nervous for the second season. I know I may not sound excited, but I am quite excited despite my tiredness. There's a lot of potential for it to succeed, but also a lot for it to fail. Most of my worries just stem from Wilford as a character in general. I just feel like he might not be as unique as I hoped him to be, and that, most of all, he might not be as complicated as he was in the movies at all. I wouldn't be disappointed if what Melanie said were true, far from it. But I would be disappointed if they decided to make a show filled with three-dimensional characters and just suddenly slap on a one-dimensional character in there, which will just wind up feeling like a mock-up of the Joker, which was a fantastic villain. And then one other thing I'm worried about is that I think there may be another train coming to the show. Yeah, another one. And I feel like this could be done correctly if they tried hard enough, but there's no guarantee that that's going to be the case. So this could be really an easy thing to mess up, where they try to do what they did with Big Alice, which worked, and trying to do it a second time, I feel like it wouldn't work. What makes me think that there's going to be a second train is based off this streak of lights that is near the weather balloon. Now, clearly this can't be any kind of marker light. It's unlikely that it's anything like that, and it's clearly not any of the other trains that we already know, because in total, Big Alice and Snowpiercer do not amount to over maybe 50 or 60 miles. And, well, I don't think that's enough to cause you to start seeing the curvature of the Earth at that elevation to see a train that long. This could be a CGI fluke, or maybe the light just doesn't represent the train at all, but it's something that we should keep in mind. And I really think that if Big Alice is confirmed to not technically be Icebreaker, this could be Icebreaker, which is a very famous train, second only to Snowpiercer. And if they did it right, I feel like they could pull off the big reveal of Icebreaker, but who knows. But that's all I have for you today. As tired as I am, I decided that I had to get this video out sooner rather than later. A lot of this information is brought to you by 261 Productions for making these trailers and images known to me on the Discord server, so thank you. 261 Productions, sorry. I hope you all enjoyed this video and comment your thoughts on it. Please don't try and spoil anything, because the series has been going on for a few weeks now out in Europe, so it's going to be really easy for someone to decide to spoil it for us proud Americans. But I can guarantee I will be making follow-up videos for when the second season starts coming out in America. And if you want to see them, subscribe or just check YouTube every like 15 minutes, I guess, like I do, if you want to see my thoughts and takes on the second season. But either way, I hope that those outside of America are enjoying the second season while they have all the knowledge while I remain ignorant. But I hope you aren't laughing at my ignorant predictions, and for all my fellow Americans, I hope we all enjoy the second season of Snowpiercer. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm really, really tired right now. I just am, and I wish I could put a bit more enthusiasm in this video, but I feel like just getting the information out there is a bit more important than whether I'm fully awake or not. But I hope that I've been stuttering quite a bit today. I've had to redo quite a bit for this video. But yeah, go check out the trailers, the unlisted trailers from across the seas and other countries other than America. You should go and watch the trailer that came out, like, I don't know, on Monday. Today's Monday. And then this is being released on Friday. So go check that out. Also, one other thing that I forgot to mention in this video. I really think that no matter how good the season is, I'm really going to love the train scenes. They're going to be nice and fun to show off. Because my goodness, that's just some straight Polar Express type stuff right there. And I mean, the final scene of the trailer that just came out of Ruth just asking incredulously, "You're going to slingshot the trains up a mountain." I don't know if this is going to be on rails or not. I really hope it is on rails because you can only get two fantastical. But either way, I think you'll enjoy the second season to some extent. I mean, it's pretty much all set up nice and right. They'd have to mess up real bad to